This first one I did was at Sandy Lane. It was the first location that we had chosen, and some of the teachers came from Sandy Lane, and then other schools were invited as well. It wasn't just Sandy Lane. But it was the first time that we rolled out the entire it's after school because it is 2 hours. It's covering 7 different applications. One of them is SMART, but they are all free applications that teachers have access to. And I think the clip is from Sandy Lane, the first one that they came out and filmed us on.
All right, well, let's take a look.
Okay. New skills training. We're going to focus on the best practices of integration of use of technology as tools to help deepen students' knowledge. So I'm going to assume that you've already done steps 1, 2, and 3 of the Marzano routine. Now, if you went, or maybe you don't remember what steps 1, 2, and 3 are, they are the ones, the non-negotiables. You do steps 1, 2, and 3 all the time. They're not negotiable. That's what you do first. And they are, the first one is teacher chooses one way to introduce the word with a student-friendly definition. And this is what Connie and Tammy do a little more in depth. Teacher chooses one way to have the students interact with the term. And then there are some options there of what you could do. Share a description, respond to a question with reasons or examples, provide a synonym or antonym. You can read all of those. And then the third step is teacher chooses one way the students design a non-linguistic representation of the word. Back when I was in the classroom, we had gestures that we used. Maybe you have a gesture, maybe you come up with some sort of a drawing, something besides a word for the students to remember. I met a little girl yesterday at Sawgrass from Madrid. This was her second day of school, didn't have any language whatsoever, and they were definitely gesturing, lots of different things.
Okay, so what were we watching her do there? What was she doing?
Laura was walking through the 6-step Marzano steps that I mentioned earlier, showing teachers how they could use digital technology for all of those steps to practice the vocabulary.
So she was kind of setting the stage
She was.
for when we get to the time that the kids really start interacting with the games.
Right, the deepening knowledge portion of the working with vocabulary, which is the piece that I think has been missing for many, many years.
All right, so this wasn't, for her participants at Sandy Lane that evening, this wasn't their first exposure to this, to the 6 steps, is that correct?
No, it should not have been. No.
So how would they have learned about it before?
They actually all have a booklet that every grade level has received, and the 6 steps are laid out inside of the booklet. And the summer we had training across the district on these booklets and what was in the booklets and how to use the booklets, and that's where Laura came in. She was part of the training, and teachers were so excited about all the applications that she shared that were free, that are easy to use. I could even use them, which that was a real litmus test if I was able to do it. And so they were just really excited about ways to work with words that were using technology. So that's morphed into these trainings, because this training is just about vocabulary and how to use the applications that Laura shared this summer.